Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Star Wars Power Half Hour right here on the Contiengecy Plan Podcast. My name is David, and we are going to be continuing my journey through comics, Star Wars comics. I actually went down to the comic book store today. Jedi Fallen Order, Dark Temple popped up, and these are prequel comics to the upcoming Jedi Fallen Order video game that will be dropping in November. Very excited about that particular game. It's been a while since I've been excited about a video game in general, but I am definitely looking forward to that, and we'll see how that is. But when I heard about the Fallen Order comics dropping, very interested in that. Obviously, in the game we have basically, I believe he's a Padawan. I don't think he ever, I believe they described him as a Padawan. But anyway, just kind of this rogue Padawan that's out there and, just trying to live. And obviously, the age of the Republic here is certainly interesting because we have so many different Jedi. And as we continue on these stories and some of this fleshing out, hopefully we get to see a little bit more into the intricacies of the Jedi Order from that time period. Also went ahead and picked up the new Black Widow comic, Web of Black Widow. I've never so much been into a lot of superheroes. I've said this before. But this one came out and I was like, I'll pick it up. I actually read through it already. It's kind of good. It's an interesting start, but, hopefully you guys are enjoying your comics and your books and everything. What is it? Black Spire. Almost called it Dark Spire. Black Spire, Galaxy's Edge tie-in book. Written by Delilah Dawson, was released, a week ago now. Finished that up pretty quickly, and I really, really enjoyed that. Hopefully the Darth will get on that book here pretty soon so that we can do a specific episode for it, because, again, it was really, really good. I actually really, really enjoyed that. But yeah, I guess we'll go into a little bit of news here. Did pull a few things. The biggest piece of news, man, the TSA, they are now reversing their ban on the thermodetonator-looking Coke bottles from the Galaxy's Edge Park. So you can take them home in your luggage. Woo! Oh man, I thought that was kind of interesting that they banned them, but I mean they're cylindrical, so I guess they could be mistaken for an explosive like a grenade. But we live in a really silly time. But there again, unfortunately we've had tragedy, in the form of airplane hijack, as we all remember on 9/11. So I do get the security, the want for security, but oftentimes, especially in matters of authority, just like with the Empire, it's pretty much all or nothing. So the ban seemed kind of silly, but I do understand. These guys, there's been a lot of issues with TSA. This isn't this kind of podcast, but I genuinely think that they are kind of trying to do a good thing, I guess, on the whole. But anyway, they banned them, and then they're pretty quickly the ban has been reversed. So you can take your Galaxy's Edge thermodetonator looking Coke bottles back home with you in your luggage. So I know that's super exciting. Next up. So we had kind of we're big into Jedi Fallen Order now, but we actually have a couple more games that are looking to drop. We have drop, and what I mean by that is re-release. So we have Jedi Knight 2, Jedi Outcast, and Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. So these are coming to the Switch and the PS4. And I was just going to look up the date. It looks like, so Jedi Outcast will be released September 24th. And then Jedi Academy will follow in early 2020. Now, I've never played these games. I didn't play these two, so I don't know much about them, but I am interested. You know, for me, it was like, you know, Knights of the Old Republic and, oh shoot, what was that strategy-based game? Oh man, I'm missing the name of that one. And then, you know, like, I don't know, Force Unleashed maybe. And then the original like Battlefront games for PS2. That's all that I really remember from Star Wars games. But these two are coming out. Apparently, they had pretty high ratings. But I am interested to see, for the right price, I might pick them up just to play around with them. But there has been an effort to re-release old games. I mean, I have. Most recently, the re-release of the Spyro trilogy and the re-release of Crash Bandicoot Racing, you know, little kart racer game, which I played the crap out of on PS1. It was actually my first PS1 game was Crash Team Racing. So I did buy the two releases of those, re-releases of those, remasters or whatever you want to call them. You know, Ratchet and Clank. I think I got the, I don't know, whatever, the triple pack that they put out on PS3 years ago, and then the remasters of the Jak and Daxter series for PS3. I remember my brother played a ton of that Jak and Daxter. I just watched because I really wasn't super interested in the game, but it was fun to watch. So anyway, there's a lot of this re-releasing of games. I don't think that's a bad thing. We're still getting cool games that drop periodically, but you know, the big issue that I see with games nowadays is that, you know, back when we played games when I was younger, the whole game was on the disc. You just had to unlock it. You know, you had to grind a bit for certain things, you know, but it was there. If you worked hard enough, you could get the entire game and all the extra content. There was no downloadable content. It was in the game. You just had to unlock it. And I do love that aspect, but you know, we're really far away from that. We unfortunately have seen a lot of backlash against EA with the battle. I keep wanting to say Battlefield, but they're Battlefront, right? And I bought the most recent game and I had a lot of fun with it, but the crates, whatever, the loot crates and all this stuff, I mean, the paying to play is just kind of lame. And I get a lot of people like to just buy the coolest gear, but I'm really not about that. So anyway, 2 games re-released, for Switch and PS4, should be kind of cool. And if any of you played those games, let me know. Hit me up on Twitter at TC Plan Podcast. I'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure to give that a follow. That's pretty much where I do any sort of social media. Obviously, there's a Facebook as well. The Darth pretty much runs the Facebook, but I don't really like social media, but Twitter seems to be okay. So let's move on to a couple of other things here. I've got one big one and one small one. One of these is a bit of a kind of a lame story that I ran across, but we'll talk about it a little bit because it has been news. So basically the headline of the story, new Star Wars land, proof that Disney has lost its way. So the park in Florida, I think it recently opened up. If it hasn't, it will. I believe it's already open because there was the whole meme going around of the Tarkin meme where it's like, well, because there's a hurricane coming. It's like, what? Abandon whatever in our moment of triumph? Listen, the Star Wars parks are going to bring in Star Wars fans. It's similar to the Harry Potter world, you know, that's going to bring in certain fans. And there are going to be certain fans who don't like it. Disney parks, you know, really since their inception, were supposed to be family friendly and family affordable in quotation marks. It does take quite a bit of money. to do these parks nowadays. And that's been a progressive thing. It's nothing new. I have family who goes to Disney every year, or maybe it's Universal. I don't know. It's one of them. I'm going to say Disney. I never fell into that stuff. I wasn't much for amusement parks. I definitely want to go to Galaxy's Edge to see it. I want to build a lightsaber. I want to do the Millennium Falcon ride. But I do have a hard time with that sort of stuff because I'm just not really keen on it. And it costs quite a bit to get into those parks and to park, and you got to pay for parking, you got to pay for the hotel, and there's a lot involved in it. You got to have the time. So the only reason why I bring up this article, and I'm not going to give it too much credence, but it just seems super, super complainy. The writer admitted basically that he's not into Star Wars. That's not, and they said that I've had Disney stock since I was a kid or something like that. So I have to assume that they're Disney fans and that they go to Disney and all this stuff, but they're not really Star Wars fans, so I don't think they really care about it. But the true Star Wars fan is going to see this park for what it is and for the experience. And I've read other posts and everything about I didn't want to pay $200 for a lightsaber, but I'm buying an experience for me and my kids and everything, and that's the important thing about it. Sometimes experiences cost money. And like I said, I wholeheartedly want to go. I'm super jealous because one of our friends from the Clashing Sabers Network, Lindsay, is set to go this year. And I'm intensely jealous of that because I want to go. I want to go build a lightsaber and ride the Millennium Falcon, dang it. So anyway, I there's a lot of negativity, and it doesn't help that I think that Disney has fallen into some tropes, media tropes, talking about attendance, maybe not being as high as they thought it would be, but they advertise the living crap out of it. And this article that I read kind of pointed this out. It's like maybe it's not seeing the attendance because people are anticipating there being large scale attendance because of the marketing, and that might be true. That might be true. But I think that having jam-packed crowds sucks. Why would I want to stand in line for a ride for 6 hours? I'm not that guy. I hate standing in lines. It is annoying. And I'm not going to do it. Well, okay, I will do it sometimes, but I hate it. So for me, I think we just need to cool it on this and just let's let it ride out. So enough of that. Let's go into my last talking point, and then we'll get into Jedi Fallen Order Dark Temple. Biggest bit of news, in my opinion, is this. So we are being told that through the Mandalorian TV show that we are going to get the origin or some specifics of the origin of the First Order. Let me go ahead and pop this article open here, and we'll read a little bit because they have quotes from Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau here. So let's see. The Mandalorian is going to fill in some of the backstory of a big mystery in the current Star Wars trilogy. The upcoming Disney Plus series is set to explore some of the early origins of the First Order, the dictatorship commanded by Supreme Leader Snoke that rose up to succeed the fallen Galactic Empire that was defeated in Return of the Jedi. So this is some quotations from Dave Filoni. This doesn't turn into a good guy universe because you blew up 2 Death Stars. You get that the rebels won and they're trying to establish a republic, but there's no way that could have set in for everyone all at once. You have in a Western where you're out on the frontier and there might be Washington, and they may have some marshals. And they might be, okay, whatever. There might, Wild West, blah, blah, blah. There might be marshals. There might be good stuff, but, good luck finding the law. Also, what could happen in the 30 years between celebrating the defeat of the Empire and then the Fallen Order, tease showrunner Jon Favreau. You come in on Okay. So we come in on, oh geez, I lost it. Sorry. Phone reloaded. Oh, okay. So you come in on, so Force Awakens, the First Order are not just starting out, they're pretty far along. Let's see. So somehow things weren't necessarily managed as well as they could have been if the galaxy ended up in hot water again like that. Okay. So, again, when we enter in the Force Awakens, the First Order's established. They have backing, they have troops. They're obviously well organized and big. So how did they get there? How did we get to this point? And I've been thinking a lot about this, partially because we're starting our reread back up in the new Jedi Order, and where we're at now is starting to bring in the Imperial Remnant. And I'm thinking more, we got that little special footage from D23 with the hundreds of Star Destroyers just out in the middle of nowhere, wherever it was. And kind of thinking about like the Mandalorian, he's talking to that Imperial, governor maybe. And, there are obviously Imperials, right? So I'm starting to wonder if maybe we'll I don't know, bring that in, I guess, maybe. I think it's a good opportunity. What if in Rise of Skywalker we get all those ships, but there's people too. There's Imperials from that former age, or well, obviously, progressed a little bit, but you know what I mean. But people tied to that old Imperial way, and this is some resemblance of the remnant of the Imperial Legion, and hey, we're going to join forces. Because as we know, the Rebel Alliance is basically very few people. Now, we're starting to get an idea of the rebuilding of the Resistance. We got a little bit of a taste of that in Black Spire, and we'll get more of a taste as time goes along. But it's interesting to think about this potential of a remnant of the Imperial that could help us rise up against the First Order. But again, back to the Mandalorian. I'm wondering if we're going to see firsthand, or if it's going to be more of like a vocal thing, talking in whispers about the First Order. Personally, I think if Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are sitting here saying you're going to get story, I assume they're going to shoot backstory. So I'm really excited about that. And this is one of the things that we needed. We need more fleshing out. We didn't get enough of that. And my biggest complaint about The Last Jedi is simply this. I can explain away a lot of things, but the middle film in the trilogy should start to fill in the blanks. And it didn't. It just didn't. It added more questions. So we'll see how it goes. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we definitely have to be careful about our expectations. But anyway, looking forward to The Mandalorian. I know you guys are too. So let's go ahead and get into the comic here. The cover, super cool cover. We have an older, conceivably Jedi Master, and then a male, balding male, and we've got our female character back here with a sweet green lightsaber. Now the Jedi in front here, he kind of had his lightsaber hilt actually looks sort of reminiscent of Anakin / Luke / Rey's lightsaber. So it does kind of look a little bit reminiscent of that, which is interesting. Not quite the same, but similar. So let's go ahead and jump in here. We start on Ontathal. We actually get one of our Inquisitors here. Now, the Inquisitors were obviously brought out in things like Rebels. But we have the one of the Inquisitors here arriving on the planet. We see stormtroopers fighting it out in the trenches, and the Inquisitor looks like she's brought a couple of death troopers with her. She converses with one of the officers, and basically, the officer's trying to play it down. It's like, we'll beat these guys back. Just hold on a second. And the Inquisitor's not really liking this guy. She's here for a reason, and essentially a story comes around that a trooper who had since died thought he saw a lightsaber. So the Inquisitor orders all fire to stop. She rushes in with the death troopers, has her, dual-bladed lightsaber spinning like a propeller, and they charge in. And I got to tell you, I never liked the Inquisitor's lightsabers. I always thought they were kind of dumb. I saw Kanan just basically like put his saber in between and slash. I just don't think it's a good design. But anyway, hey, what do I know? So the Death Troopers are doing their duty here. I do like the illustrator put a few pew pews up here, for sound effect. Pew 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 pew. I love that. That's funnier than hell. Okay, so one thing I immediately notice here is the lightsabers, because we get to a panel here where so they've stopped. Shall we look for a survivor? No. I think they're coming to us. And we see a blue lightsaber ignite. These lightsabers they're not animated to look very controlled. They almost look like, like Kylo's cracked saber. I think it's just a choice in animation, but there it is. So anyway, after that, we actually step back years earlier. We're on a planet called Namiel. Leave us alone. We did nothing. Everyone, please relax. Language we can't speak. We just want to be left alone. Can we have a peaceful discussion? Or we can have a peaceful discussion if you all just calm down. Language I can't read. I said calm down. So this is our first look into Padawan. I haven't really decided how I want to say her name. Siri, maybe? Or, I don't know. Cere. Siri. We're going to call her Siri. I'm sure that's not exactly what it is, but I'm going to say that. Junda. So Siri Junda is Padawan, is a Padawan. They're on a planet. They're on the planet here, and we have a dispute between some Trandoshans and... What did they say these guys were? They were monks. Dupai monks. And our Padawan here seems to have a little bit of a, I don't know if a hothead, but very, very intuitive, but seems to be relatively quick to judgment. So she does a force push and pushes everyone back. They're arguing, and it's kind of a loss of control. Please excuse Siri Junda here. My Padawan is too impulsive at times. No need to show off, Siri. We just want to make sure things don't escalate. That's not what I was doing. Now the fun begins. Ooh, they said something. Something we know. We will speak with both parties to find out what is going on from their perspective. We already know what's going on, Master Cordova. So we have Master Cordova. Perhaps. But it's not often that one comes across actual Dupai monks. The last recorded encounter with a Dupai was over. Master, this isn't one of your studies. We're on a peacekeeping mission, remember? Or maybe it's both. Do you think a deeper knowledge of each other's cultures will get in the way of peace? And Siri, whatever your first instinct is, ignore it. Try to keep things calm while I talk to the Dupai. Apparently, I keep saying Siri and the darn phone goes off. No, I don't want to talk to you, phone. Leave me alone. I didn't even remember I had that brought up. So we have our Trandoshans here, and they're actually arguing amongst themselves as well. Essentially, the story goes is that the Trandoshans were coming to buy weapons from the Dupai, and the Dupai basically stole credits from the Trandoshans. Unfortunately, Ciri here kind of jumped the gun. She winds up tackling one of the chiefs of the Trandoshans and actually winds up escalating things further. They're pulling blasters. She ignites her lightsaber, which green. I love to see green lightsabers. That would be my color choice. But she's fighting. She whips out her lightsaber. They have battle axes. I don't want to hurt any of you, she says. But again, she's very quick to combat. And out comes Master Cordova. Excellent news. The Dupai monks have admitted to stealing this Trandoshan tribe's credits and are... Oh, so these guys were right. Oh, Ciri. Yeah, it's tough. You know, she seems to be a little rash, but it happens. So we are now moving on to the Jedi Council on Coruscant. Basically just get a summary of the mission from the Padawan's perspective. Yoda does chirp up here, simply asking about your trip back here, Master Windu was. But an interesting point Padawan Juno raises, provoked she was. I was, and believe we do. That is something that should happen to a Jedi? No, but being provoked into a battle goes hand in hand with speaking out of turn, perhaps. Agree, would you, Master Cordova? So Master Cordova actually is very supportive of his Padawan and points out here, my Padawan is impulsive and very quick to follow her instincts, especially when it comes to judgments of character. And again, Ciri just doesn't seem to be able to hold her tongue though, because she's even like, Master. But I'd respectfully offer that perhaps the Council has forgotten that many ancient Jedi texts imply our instincts and judgments are often ways in which the Force speaks to us before we are truly trained to listen to it, or after we have grown deaf to it. Respectfully. This is a very interesting perspective because me and the Darth still haven't sat down and had our episode regarding what our thoughts on, the Jedi Council and the fall of the Jedi Council, because I have some pretty strong opinions about this, but Master Cordova is really on point here in the interesting afterthought, or after we have grown deaf to it. And this is something that the Council identifies later when they say, we can't really use the Force like we used to. The Force doesn't turn its back on you. You stop listening to it, which is why I love Qui-Gon so much, because he had a much deeper understanding of the living Force. Let's go ahead and continue here. So Ciri, I really wonder if that's I feel weird calling her Ciri. Oh my goodness. That's okay. We're going with Ciri. I don't know. You know me and pronunciations. So Ciri jumps in here. Am I to be cast out of the order, masters? No, young Padawan. While Master Cordova here respectfully reminds us that sometimes it may be good to make rash decisions, the Jedi Council takes a more measured approach. And with the monks stealing credits from the Trandoshans, who were trying to buy outlawed weapons from them, we are willing to call that entire situation complicated. So we actually have another mission for our Master and Padawan. They are going to... Oh, they're going back. Tauntathal. Okay. Or no, wait. Okay, they're going to Ontathal, which is what we mentioned in the very beginning. They have a temple, and Master Cordova says, a Jedi temple? No, we will believe it to be on Ontathal in origin, but the local constabulary requested a Republic presence. So Ciri still, she's like, you're not being kicked out, but she even views this assignment as a punishment. I'm really wondering about this kid. It's like, This is actually, again, I'll go off on a little tangent here. We're past our half-hour mark, by the way, so congratulations, you got more out of me. This is a problem that I perceive with taking these young kids as young as they do, sometimes as young as babies, and training them in the temple away from true family, from their blood relations. And they're not really left to be kids. They have so much responsibility that I think that part of that enables them to act out or necessitates them to act out. Unfortunately, Siri here is a prime example of somebody who can't seem to control herself. And, not passing judgment, it's more upon the lifestyle that was thrust on her. It's not even like she would have chose this, and you're indoctrinated into it from so young. Why would you choose anything else? It's all you know. But Siri needs to learn a little bit of control. And Master Cordova seems like a pretty controlled individual, so we'll see how it continues here. So 3 days later, on to Thal Spaceport. We meet Dilanto Da, founder of the company. Welcome to Ontathal. Wonderful, isn't it? You actually have this interesting snow, quote, snow. Siri says, the snow is fascinating. It's so beautiful. Yes, the tambic gas in the atmosphere has a very high freezing point, but most of the time the ground is slightly too warm. So it snows without ever getting cold, but when it hits the ground, it turns back into gas, hence the fog. Siri is actually she puts her tongue out to try and get a piece of it. It's also highly poisonous if you consume too much of it. Oh, yeah. And the snow's like red. I'm sorry. I'm not sticking my tongue out on red snow. Just no. So our new friend here, Dilanto, is giving a little bit of backstory. So the temple that they're looking at is, let's see here, on Philari land. So apparently this planet, when it was brought into the Republic, we actually had a group, the Philari, who basically are their own nation on the planet, and they didn't agree to any of this. So they're essentially rogues. They just have their own thing going. And this temple is on their land. And our buddy here is also not going to go with them. So the Philari have agreed to see representatives concerning this temple. So we'll talk about it. So the Jedi are going to go, but they're going in an armored vehicle. And Master Cordova kind of points this out. It's like, doesn't this seem a little odd? Like 2 Jedi in a highly armored vehicle. It doesn't really seem to send the best message, right? Well, anyway, here we go. So we're going through this little canyon here, and we have a little ping, 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 and they're being ambushed, potentially. So pretty much like she does, Siri, let's go find out who's angry with us. Wait, these are armored vehicles. We're safe in here. And Siri just jumps out. Master Cordova sitting there. She does this. I guess I should follow her. Stay here. My darn phone keeps... I need to turn that off. I don't even use Siri. Jeez. Dumb. Okay, so anyway, I guess I could start saying, no, I won't do that. We won't get the dot riled up. Let's see. So there was a commotion ahead, blaster fire, and a struggle, but now I can't sense anything. Yes, something clouds our connection to the Force here. Fascinating. But reach out again, Siri. Open yourself up to something larger. It isn't... I don't sense nothing. I sense everything. I do as well. It's not an absence of the Force that makes it hard to sense things. It is its presence. It overwhelms here for some reason. Okay. It isn't a desert we are on the floor of. It's an ocean. But it still means we can't access it in the way we need. Our attackers, how can we find them if we're blind out here? Careful, Siri. Don't rely solely on the Force. You are smart and insightful. Use all of your gifts. Nature gives us answers if we ask it. Our attackers knocked the moisture from these leaves as they moved. If they come back soon, of course, but now we are being shown the way they want. He uses the Force to move some of this fog to show footprints. So, Siri just runs off. I'm on it. But that doesn't mean we should run off after them, Siri. Hard charger. Got to give her that. Unfortunately, she gets lost. And this is continuing the animation. You see in some of these panels, her blade looks like it's just sparking all over the place. So that's interesting. So she's lost. Now which way? Look for the trail, Siri. And as she clears the fog, she actually finds a body. She's not with them, so what do we do? Hello, who's there? I'm Siri Junda, Jedi. Hello? And as they were, not together here, we have Master Cordova yelling out for her. And Siri just comes out of nowhere. Master, I was following a voice. I seem to have gotten lost somehow. This forest has more to it than we understand, Siri. There are people in there. I could hear them, and I found a body. Even so, we aren't to run off like that. Our mission for now is here with this convoy. And then we get an explosion. And if we go off of normal physics, Master Cordova, he's probably toasty. Knocks both of our Jedi out. And Siri has one last word. Master Cordova, no. And then she's hit on the back of the head. And our last panel here, I hope you're right about her. To be continued. Oh, man. Wow. I'm so happy with this comic. It is, it's really, really good. And our next one, we don't get until the 25th. We actually have to, we wait 3 weeks. Wow. Oh, I really enjoyed this one. I'm interested to see what happens to our Jedi here. I'm really interested to see what this temple's all about as well. But obviously, hopefully, Master Cordova is all right. Now, in the first panel that we have with our Inquisitor, we do see the blue lightsaber, seemingly that looks like Master Cordova's blade. So maybe he's okay. And hopefully he is okay. But the blast seemed to get him. And Siri, man, calm down. Calm down, girl. Hopefully she learns a little bit of patience. A little bit of patience. God, now I got the stutters. Oh, man. So anyway, folks, hopefully you enjoyed the comic. Hopefully you've picked this up. Go pick this up. This is going to be a cool little series, I think, and a great tie-in for Jedi Fallen Order, which, again, I'm very excited about that game. So if you guys have any comments, questions, anything you'd like to discuss, again, make sure to hit up the Twitter. That's where I am at TC Plan Podcast. Or you can hit us up on the Facebook. You know how to look us up there, hopefully. Or if you have a long form story that you just read on the podcast, or any sort of theories, or just how you got into Star Wars, you can email us at tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. So thank you guys very much for riding along with me. Definitely appreciate it. You guys have a great rest of your week. And as always, may the Force be with you.